All right, everybody, welcome to NCB Live number 4. They haven't canceled this yet. We're still here. You got myself, Derek Hernandez, along with Greg Smith. He's here throwing up the 4, like he's in the 4 Horsemen or something. We also have some friends along with us, fellow no-coasters in Alyssa and Carmen. Say what's up, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hi, guys.
So they are NBA buffs. Alyssa's a hardcore Oklahoma City Thunder fan. And Carmen is repping the Lakers today. So a little friendly rivalry we have going on there.
We're not relevant enough for you to be mad at me right now.
I'm repping the Nuggets, and we beat both your guys' teams the last time we played. So,
but we beat you 2 days before that.
I'm pretty sure.
Whatever.
We beat you 2 days before that by like
the Lakers
20.
also own you in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Whatever.
and we own you in the playoffs. Win a playoff series.
I can tell the show. Whoa. I can tell this show's going to be explosive, but we'll have our chances
talk a lot of
to
crap.
talk about. Yeah, we'll have our chances to talk some crap here. So, basically, what we're going to cover today, it's going to be an NBA heavy edition. We're going to talk about the All-Star selections, both the starters and the reserves. Talk about the snubs, midseason awards, who we feel is our MVP, most improved player, rookie of the year, coach of the year, and then we're going to talk about some surprise teams, and that's going to be a lot of crap talk in there, I'm assuming. So. Well, let's kind of get started right away about the All-Star starters. So what I'm going to do is just kind of list off the starters for both conferences. You guys let me know what jumps off the page. You know, who do you think shouldn't be on the team or as a starter, and who should be a starter. For the East, we have LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, John Rondo, and Kevin Garnett.
See,
Thoughts
I have
on
an
that?
issue with 2 Celtics being there.
I have an issue with Kevin Garnett being. I don't understand why Kevin Garnett's there. He has not had a good season.
No. It's a Celtics bias. It's got to be.
Yeah, but there's 2 Lakers on there too, so you can't really on the West, so you can't really say anything.
Yeah, but they're stars in their own right.
Dwight Howard's been injured like half the first half of the season. He hasn't played well either, but he's played better than Garnett. Garnett hasn't played well at all. That's just, I don't even know how he got. I didn't even think he was that popular, to be honest. Like, I don't understand how he got voted on. I don't.
Well,
maybe he got a surge after the Honey Nut Cheerios blast.
I think that's exactly what happened. I think because everyone was like all tweeting about that and stuff. I think like that helped actually his hype a lot.
I mean, would you rather put Tyson Chandler in as a starter?
I think he's better.
I mean,
He's better
I think
right
he's
now.
better too.
I'd rather have Chandler there. That would. He's at least the Knicks are at least having a good season. He's having a good season.
Right. I mean, I just think you got a lot of slim pickings in the East, and they want to kind of.
That is true, though. The East is kind of slim. It's a lot more competitive in the West.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those situations where, you know, who else are you going to put in? So it's kind of tough to pick from there.
I guess so. You'd always put Joakim Noah in there.
Yeah, I don't even think Garnett shouldn't even have been on the All-Star team, to be honest with you.
I agree.
And I'll get to this later with my snubs, and Brooke Lopez. That's gonna be my biggest snub that I'm gonna talk about later.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, what's that?
Yeah, no, that is a snub. He should.
It's a snub, but I don't know about biggest.
He's
We're gonna have to get to that because I don't know biggest.
I'll get to that here shortly.
Yeah,
I have another guy in mind too. He's a West Coast guy, but
yeah, I think I know who you're
we'll bring that up here in a bit. Western Conference, we have Kobe, Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, Dwight Howard, and Blake Griffin.
Dwight Howard. Why is Dwight Howard there?
Hold on. How can you can't have any problem with that starting 5? Those are clearly the 5 best players in the conference. And the West is loaded. Those are clearly the 5 best guys, even if Dwight Howard has been injured.
You can't make a better case.
I understand why he got voted in. I'm not surprised he got voted in. It's not like he's having this great season. Like he's had better.
He got put in as a center. Who else are you going to put in as a center in the West?
Maybe. I'm just saying other centers.
I mean, he could be a snub, but I mean, if you put Dwight Howard and Marc Gasol against each other, Dwight Howard's going to
rather have
this year. This year alone, if we're talking about Orlando Magic,
we're talking about this year. The past years don't matter. This is about this year.
Right, it's about this year.
And this has not been Dwight Howard's year.
Dwight Howard's been rebounding a lot more than people understand. So
is he leading the league now that Noah's out?
I don't know.
I'd have to check. I should check that right now.
I'd have to check it out.
I think I might be wrong, but I know he's up there pretty high. I was surprised.
I'm gonna check right now.
He tied his career high like 26 a couple weeks ago. So
okay, but that's one
against
game.
Your Nuggets. So there.
Against the Nuggets.
Hey, not bashing the Nuggets.
I'm not bashing.
He is number one in rebounds right now. By the way, 12.1.
That I heard that somewhere. I'm like, is somebody just blowing smoke? But for him having like half a back, it's pretty crazy.
Right.
All-star numbers right there.
You're not going to put Marc Gasol in there over Dwight Howard. It's just
plus think about this with the fan vote. There's no way fans are going to vote Marc Gasol over Dwight Howard.
No, because Memphis is not a big market. No. LA is a big market, and there was a lot of hype around Dwight Howard going into the season, coming on to the Lakers. Everybody was talking about it, so he has more hype built up around him than guys like Marc Gasol who come from Memphis.
Memphis deserves a lot more hype than they get.
Yes, they deserve it, but they're one of the smallest markets in the NBA.
Right, they're not going to, especially being in the Western Conference. If they were in the East,
especially when the U.S. teams like the Clippers and the Lakers and the Thunder and the Spurs, and there's like so many heavy hitters.
Right, but the Grizzlies are right in there with them.
Well, if you want to talk about,
okay,
one of you guys mentioned the 5 best players in the West. If we're just talking about 5 best players and not regardless of position, Dwight wouldn't be there. I mean, I'd probably put Westbrook in that starting lineup then. Just move Blake Griffin and Durant.
Oh, jeez.
See, and like people talk about the center's a dying position.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you that. The center is a dying position.
Like, I don't even think we should go by positions.
But they should do it to where it's just the 5 best players at this point because you essentially are forcing to put a center in there.
Yeah, because then it's going to become more of a pickup game, which I think people will like.
Like, half the centers aren't even really true centers. Like, Chris Bosh is playing center. He's not a center. Like, the center is a
Dwight Howard, this new role that D'Antoni wants him to play isn't a true center role anyway.
Well, the true center is like a dying position in the NBA. I really feel like positions are more like titles now. It's not even just to help people understand. But it's like, Westbrook's not even a true point guard. He's a hybrid point guard. Like, so many positions, so many of these guys can play everything.
I'd agree with that.
No, yeah, I can agree with that. I think, we're going to talk about potential changes to how they select an all-star team here in a bit, but, just doing away with the positions would be very helpful in terms of getting the best players on the court. So,
yeah, for the all-star game, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So those are the starters. I mean, there's probably not too much of an argument for most of those players except KG, basically the centers of both teams.
Yeah.
And I think this is where we're going to get into a little more fun here. What I'm going to do next is actually pull up the All-Star reserves. Let's see. Hopefully this works. It doesn't kick me off. So, all right. So what we have here are the All-Star reserves, and you guys can see that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we'll just start with the East. We have Chris Bosh, Tyson Chandler, Lil Deng, Paul George, Drew Holiday, Kyrie Irving, and Joakim Noah. Thoughts on that?
I'm not going to argue with any of that. I think Kyrie Irving is probably up there, too, for most developed player this season.
I agree with that.
I completely agree with that. The only thing that we kind of alluded to this, the whole Brooke Lopez thing, but who are you going to take out? I would probably take out Bosh.
That's what I was going to say. I take out Bosh.
I think that's another high-profile
splitting hairs. I don't care enough to be upset about it. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, but that would probably be the only thing.
I would take out. I don't think there should be 2 Bulls on there right now this year, really.
Hey.
I don't think there should be 3 Miami Heat players on there. So I think Bosh should be out and Lopez should be in. Why are there 3 Miami Heat players? Just because they're the Miami Heat?
Well, it's Spoelstra's coaching, right?
So he picked.
I think Spoelstra's coaching.
Derek, I disagree with you on that one. I could go with Deng and Noah being all-stars. They've had when we'll get to our surprise teams, they're up there for that.
They pulled together.
So.
Absolutely.
I'm not that surprised. They finished first in the conference last year. I don't know why people are so surprised. I know they have no Derrick Rose, but he missed a third of the season last year, and they still finished first in the East.
Yeah, their record didn't suffer when Rose wasn't in, but he's the distributor. He's the leader. He makes everyone else around him work.
Well, right, but it also wasn't just about Rose too. It was also
they
about
lost
half their team.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it was their bench.
Jimmy Butler's stepping up now. You've got a lot of guys that are coming off the bench and really doing stuff. And Nate Robinson has some sort of weird offensive thing going on.
Well, that was the thing. Like, Nate Robinson was your ace in the hole this summer. I was like, yeah, that's that's going to do good for them. But I mean, they're there right now, and Tibbs is doing a great job.
I credit a lot of it to coaching. He's done a great job with his squad.
He's very noble crap. I can't swear.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And don't worry, we'll have this entire section here dedicated totally just to snubs. So we're kind of alluding to it a little bit here, but we'll move on to the West reserves really quick and then get into our most glaring snubs. 2000 West All-Star reserves. We got LaMarcus Aldridge, Tim Duncan, James Harden, David Lee, Tony Parker, Zach Randolph, and Russell Westbrook.
I mean, is it just a rule that Tim Duncan has to make the All-Star squad at this point? I really think it has to be.
I don't even.
How old? I mean, the Spurs are doing really well. Don't get me wrong, but how much of that is the workhorse of Tony Parker and all that kind of stuff? Like, really?
I don't agree with Duncan being on the team, but
I think it's just a rule now.
I think it is. He's just everyone's so used to him being there. Like he just has to be there. It's just because he's Tim Duncan.
Man, let the old man have his time. I think it's David. David Lee is the one that needs to be going home. It needs to be. Well, we'll get to the snubs, but it'll be David Lee for me is the guy that shouldn't be there.
I'll tell you that this much. I'm glad Zach Randolph made it though, because
I'm glad he made it too. I think he deserves to be there. He's really had a great season and really helped Memphis to the record they have so far.
Oh yeah.
We'll see.
He's forgotten about a lot. I was glad to see him get his due.
We'll still see if he's a Grizzly in a few weeks, though. I know they're going to try to.
They're going to have a tough time hanging on to him, really.
Yeah.
I'm just glad Jeremy Lin's not on there. I was so afraid of Jeremy Lin making it.
Actually, I'm right with you on that one because I was so scared that was going to happen.
I was actually hoping.
He's top 20 point guards, though. I will say that.
Top 20.
He's top 20.
He's top 32. Isn't there 32
Top
teams?
32.
Top 20 in the West.
No, I pulled that stat the other day for an article, and I was just like, all right, well.
I'm not as down on Jeremy Lin's game as most people, but again, if he would have made the All-Star team, so many people's heads.
No, that would have been ridiculous.
But you're still the only person that I know that still has not completely written him off as just a complete bum.
Well, Houston needed to meet
I'm half Asian.
I mean, I was going to let you say I told you that off of the air, but yeah, anyway. That's pretty much what it is.
He got close to being voted a starter too. I was gonna be mad.
That would have been so awesome, though.
I would have gone off.
We would have had an entire show just dedicated to that.
Dedicated to Jeremy Lin.
So I guess we'll just get to the snubs here. I think this is where we have a lot of stuff just waiting to say here. For me, at first I was gonna say Steph Curry was the most glaring snub.
That's what I was gonna say.
But
that's what
that was one of mine too.
I'm sticking to that.
Kind of looking into
Stephen Curry.
After kind of looking at statistics, though, this is going to blow your mind. I looked up Brooke Lopez's stats. He's 4th overall in the player efficiency rating, which is crazy.
Yeah. And he's part of a unit that makes them the second best center efficiency team.
Yeah.
No, he got snubbed. He should be there instead of Bosh. That's what I said.
Yeah, and he's and I look. This is even crazier too. He has the second highest player efficiency rating of any player that didn't make the All-Star game. And that's only second to Kareem's 1 year, which is ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
Here's another stat here. Take his points per minutes, rebounds per minutes, and blocks per minutes. That combination of stats has only been achieved by 9 players, and here they are. Kareem, Hakeem, David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, Shaq, Alonzo Mourning, Robert Parrish, Bob McAdoo, and Ralph Sampson.
That's really impressive.
And he didn't make the All-Star team. How is this even possible?
Well, statistically, as an overall package, he is only in the top 10. He's 10th in the league for centers.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go by an overall package this year, I mean, it's almost, you kind of understand, especially with the center not being, I mean, you put what? There's 2 centers in the East reserves, which is kind of weird. But, you're not going to put much of reserves.
Yeah, I think the roster spot limitations are 4 guards, 6 front court players, and 2 wild cards.
Yeah,
that's how it's broken out. But for me, that jumped out the page for me as Brooke Lopez.
No, and he's averaging almost 19 points a game.
Yeah.
And this is the shocking one for me. There's a player, Daniel Orton, is averaging 48 points per 48 minutes this year, and he didn't make the team. He's only played like 2 minutes this year, but still.
I'm going to let that hang out there. The crazy thing to me, though, is that who would have ever thought that we would be arguing for a Nets player to be on the All-Star game, and it's not Darren Williams?
That's true.
Before the season, you would have never thought that would, because
D. Will is overrated now. D. Will is overrated. He's not a top 5 point guard anymore. I'm sorry. He's not.
I don't know if I'm going there, but
he's got more help around him.
That's true too. Well, he has Brooke Lopez, but what else does he have? Joe Johnson, please.
Yeah, well,
hey, I still think Joe Johnson, ski mask Joe
Johnson made the All-Star game every year since 2007. Think about that.
Joe Johnson?
Yeah.
He's also been injured every season since 2007. No, I think he's so overrated. Like, I think he's just garbage. But I agree that Lopez should have made it. I think he didn't because he's just not that big name yet. Like, Chris Bosh is a big name on a big team, you know, with a lot of hype and defending champions. And Brooke Lopez, he's not, or at least not yet. So I think it's all just
hype. The Nets got so much publicity this year, though. I mean, with their unveiling and everything, like their new stadium coming in, like. I mean,
they had a lot of more buzz than usual, but he's still not he's not a household name. And the Nets have had a really up and down season. So
think about this too. The big possible trade in the offseason was Lopez for Howard. At this point of the season, I would take Lopez over Howard right now. Not long term, but as of right now.
Oh, I would too.
Well, you actually, honestly, you would have to consider it long term, because you don't know if Dwight Howard's back will ever be the same or not.
Yeah, or if he'll stay with your team for more than 2 years. But
that's a whole nother discussion.
So yeah, I don't know what. I guess, Greg, did you say your snub, or do you have a snub there, Carmen? Or
no, it's Steph Curry. Bottom line,
mine's Steph Curry too.
I mean, he first of all, it's a snub if Chuck gets involved. Charles, I don't know if you heard Charles Barkley's rant.
I love Chuck.
Curry didn't make the All-Star team, but it's a big deal. But no, I mean, do you realize he's averaging 45.1% behind the free throw or behind the 3-point line? Like, that's insane. He's just like the
he's one of the best shooters in the NBA. He's one of the best shooters in the NBA. He's one of the main reasons Golden State has the record it does. And this team's playing so good. Like, people are sleeping on the Warriors a lot. And I don't think they have the experience to really win a big playoff series yet. But they're going to be tough to beat, and he's the main reason why.
And he's young, a leader of that team. He's going to keep getting better, and he's going to keep...
If he stays healthy. The only thing is he has to
stay healthy.
You better get that Kobe surgery on those ankles.
Go out to Germany and figure it out.
He needs to figure out what Russell Westbrook does to stay healthy, because I swear that guy's not human.
You got to knock on wood.
He rolls his ankle and then comes out and has a better second half than first half.
He's never missed a game.
Honestly, Steph Curry, though, he's
never missed a game in NBA, college, or high school.
That's nuts.
He's never missed a game.
He's the anti-Paul Pierce.
Oh, wish I had a wheelchair gift right now to pull out, but I don't.
No, but Steph Curry, honestly, the only point guard better, at least in the West, is absolutely Russell Westbrook. That's it. And so, how are you going to keep him off of the roster? At least the reserves,
I was shocked.
So no love for Steve Nash out there.
I mean, I still got love for my man Steve, but Steph Curry's playing better than Nash.
No, I just had to throw that out to troll. I'm just messing with you.
No, I know. I don't have defense for it. I'm sorry.
Lillard over Nash right now.
His leg isn't better. All right, that's what we're going with. It's still fractured. It's not better yet.
The problem with Steve Nash is he's 39 years old, and there's a lot of miles on those tires, and you can't play forever. He's done. Should have quit while he was
I mean, honestly, especially for his age, he's running around, he's scurrying around the little court. I mean, he probably just looks faster because the Lakers are slow as I don't know.
Yeah,
that's basically what it is.
We'll get into some Laker slander here in a bit.
And he can't play defense to save his life.
Well, no one can.
The whole team can't play.
Nash should never play defense. Now he's even older.
D'Antoni, and D'Antoni doesn't use defense. He shouldn't have a D in front of his name.
It's Antony. It's Antony. There's no D in
Antony.
God, man, I hate that dude, man. What? See, that got me mad.
He looks like Carter Peterschmidt. That's what he looks like to me.
It's just because Bus has that complex about Phil Jackson dating his sister, and
he needs to get over it.
He doesn't need to get over it, but he's stuck in his ways for decades now. So it's not changing. I'm not. It's a whole other story. Let's not go into that for hours.
Let's see. Who else was? The only other really big complaint that I saw was for, and I never thought I'd ever hear this, Jamal Crawford and J.R. Smith making the teams.
Jamal Crawford he should get Sixth Man of the Year for sure.
I think that's a no-brainer.
No, J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith can go sit down somewhere, man. I can't. That is like my number one hated NBA player.
I can't stand J.R.
Seriously, if he came to my house, I would punch him in the face. Like, I literally can't stand J.R. Smith.
Watch he actually comes to your house. He doesn't come to your house. Then what are you going to do?
I'll reach out to him. Greg. I'll get
Jamal Crawford should have at least been considered. Like, his name should have at least been thrown around more than it was. J.R. Smith should
also he's so clutch. Like, he is so clutch.
Like, I'm not saying I disagree with him not being there, but his name should have been in the conversation more at least. J.R. Smith can sit down.
Yeah. Crawford's game is perfect for an all-star game, though.
It really is.
Like, his game is just made for an all-star. I mean, he doesn't play any defense, but you don't play any defense.
No, you don't play any defense
in all-star games anyways.
But I agree with the Crawford thing, though, yeah. But it's fine. J.R. Smith could take the all-star weekend and get on Instagram or something. That's all good.
We got it. Y'all don't like J.R. Smith.
Man. I guess any other thoughts on all-star selections or how the process works in general?
No.
I mean, I know LeBron had an idea of. You're boycotting it?
I'm boycotting the All-Star game.
Why is that?
To me, it's just whack now. Like, no one competes in the dunk contest. If a big name does, they're gonna win because nobody cares about the other guys in it. Kind of like Blake Griffin a couple years ago. The All-Star game. I don't like the way the voting is now, and to me, just the whole thing it's not like they really play hard. You know, the whole thing is just kind of whack. I mean, they have the 3-point contest with a bunch of nobodies. Like, even if these guys are good 3-point shooters, like, you need to put like Kevin Durant in there, a Stephen Curry. Like, people would want to see that. Like, other than the skills challenge, like, it's a bunch of nobodies. Who cares?
I do like seeing kind of like a pickup game atmosphere though with these guys. Like, it's cool to put them all together and just kind of have them go at it, not seriously though, obviously.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I completely like the pickup game aspect of it. I think it's just fun. It's basically like what it is, you get a bunch of the best players together and just roll the ball out there and just see what they do.
I think what would be best is they vote on this 20 All-Stars or 24 All-Stars, for example, half East, half West, and then have captains. Imagine Kobe picking the teams.
Oh,
That'd
God.
be ridiculous. That'd be hilarious. Just watching.
Actually, that would be so funny. They would need to like put that on TV. The picking like the
he wouldn't
draft.
Even pick the Lakers. He wouldn't even pick his teammates. I don't think.
No,
not this year.
He wouldn't. Kobe does what he needs to win. That's why I like him so much. But no, but at least they managed to make the All-Star game in the NBA stay a lot more relevant than the NFL Pro Bowl. Like
that's true.
I enjoy the NBA All-Star game better than any other All-Star game.
Yeah, it's my favorite All-Star game too.
Yeah, for sure. Because basketball is like a pickup sport. I mean, you can.
Yeah.
I guess you can argue that.
It just lends itself better to that. Like when people don't try in football or baseball, you can tell, and it kind of.
It just looks bad when that happens.
Yeah, but in basketball, you can still make it fun.
Yeah, as long as they're having fun, you can see that.
Oh yeah, I mean it's kind of an exhibition, anyways. Itself.
Right. Like as long as Dwayne Wade don't elbow anybody, you're all good.
He's on.
LeBron doesn't tackle an unsuspecting fan. Did you?
I actually like that. That was funny.
I thought that was hilarious. And
did you see the picture of him at the club though after he won the money?
No.
He went to the club. He had him a couple girls. He looked like he was having a good time.
Oh wow!
You better get that prenup. I mean, he's got that money.
That almost made me like LeBron. Almost.
Almost.
I will never like LeBron. Ever.
No, I caught myself smiling at the video, and I was like, "What am I doing?"
We could have like a 5-part series on LeBron if we really wanted to.
Good.
I don't want to give him that much attention.
That's true.
Yeah. I'll hold my comments back for now.
Yeah, well, I'll let that go.
Well, speaking of LeBron, mid-season awards. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on the MVP of the halfway point of the season, most improved player, rookie of the year, and coach of the year. I'll just start things out with mine, and you guys kind of go from there. But MVP, I have 3 numbers for you: 50, 40, 90. Kevin Durant's my MVP so far this year. It's basically him and LeBron. I don't think there's anybody else even in consideration. I had Chris Paul up there for a while, but he's kind of fallen off a little bit.
Well, he's injured. Don't be like that.
Yeah, I know. There's still plenty of time.
You got to be able to stay healthy.
Yeah,
that's key in the NBA.
It's a regular season award, and you got to play the games to win the award. So, most improved. I'm on the Brooke Lopez bandwagon right now. I'm saying Brooke Lopez there. I've kind of just spat out all my numbers already on that. Rookie of the year, I have Damian Lillard.
Lillard out of Portland.
Trillard, whatever he wants to call himself.
Insane.
That kid reminds me of kind of a poor man's Russell Westbrook. Right now, at this point in his career.
That kid is clutch too.
He's fearless. He's dope. Coach of the year, I have Tibbs. What he's doing with that team is incredible, even though the East is kind of down. And I was going to throw out, it was kind of between him, George Karl. I'm a little biased, but they basically played 95% of their games on the road this year, and they're in a position to move up in the standings here in the second half. And Mark Jackson with the Warriors, he was kind of up there for me too, but I'll have to go with Tibbs on that.
You have to go with Tibbs.
Yeah, Mark Jackson is a sneaky pick on that one. I like that pick. All right, I'll go next. I'll go next with mine. For the MVP, can I go off the board and go with Kobe?
No.
Can I not go Kobe?
No.
Is that not allowed?
Yeah.
All right, if we can't go Kobe, now I'm going to go Kevin Durant. I hate to do it. I hate to join in on the Alyssa bandwagon on this one, but I'll go with Kevin
I'm going to
Durant.
throw some good numbers for you. Don't worry.
That's fine. I'll let you handle that. Rookie of the year, though, I am going to go off the board and stay away from Damian Lillard and go with Anthony Davis.
Oh, come on. Everyone else is going to go with Anthony.
Listen, I'm going to tell you why.
Okay, all right.
Let me tell you. So, he's in New Orleans. Nobody talks about them unless they're making fun of the Pelicans, right? So, nobody really cares at this point. But 12 points a game, 7 rebounds a game, 1.8 blocks a game. He's playing an all-around game. I think he's playing well. At the end of the year, he will overtake Damian. Watch.
This is mid-season, right?
Just watch.
Mid-season.
No, it's fine. I'll still go with it for right now.
Where are the Pelicans right now?
See, I shouldn't even said Pelicans because I knew that it would turn into hate on the Pelicans, which still
I'm not even hating on it, but they're not doing well. Hornets, Pelicans, otherwise, I don't really care. You can't disguise that they're not having a good season.
We can blame it on the uncertainty on the mascot, all right?
All right, you can make fun of Greg for that, but before the season started, my sleeper pick for Rookie of the Year was Royce White. And the guy's gone crazy now. He hasn't even played.
Hey man, I wouldn't even
I saw him on pardon the interruption, PTI, and he's got a good case though. Like, the NBA kind of sweeps all of their physical ailments, if it's not a physical ailment, I should say, under the rug. And if he's
he does.
So he's got a legitimate issue. He's got a legitimate, disease or whatever you want to call it. And I think he's got a point. I think, they need to kind of put some things in place where, he can go to his own doctors and he can do his own things. And, if it's going to make his game better. But
yeah, no, that makes sense. But
he could have just went about it in a different way. I just think the way that he approached the whole situation was just wrong.
No. Well, he's a kid too, so how are you gonna?
That too. I'll give him that too.
Yeah.
My coach of the year, I like that Mark Jackson pick. But I actually went with Mike Woodson.
Tibbs.
The Knicks. So Mike Woodson. God. See, I had to go off the board, right? So nobody thought that the Knicks would be that good. Everybody coming into the season, we were talking about. Everybody was talking about the Nets, how the Nets were going to take over the Knicks and all of that. I think that Woodson's done a really nice job out there. I can't stand the Knicks, but I'll have to give it up to them at this point. Most improved player, he was good before, but I think he's kind of taking it to another level. I like Drew Holiday out with the Sixers.
Oh, yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah. That is good.
19 points a game, 9 assists a game. Yeah, he's having a solid year. So did I redeem myself with the Drew Holiday pick and everybody stop throwing stuff?
I see your point, but I'm not the biggest Bruin fan.
UCLA, they make the best NBA players.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, OJ Mayo? Okay.
Kevin, that was USC. That was USC, not UCLA.
Oh, you're
Russell
right.
Westbrook,
Okay.
Kevin Love, Drew Holiday.
How did that team not win?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
How did that UCLA team with Westbrook and Love not win? They had a Flalo, too, I think, in Collison.
Yeah, and they had Darren Collison.
How did they not win?
I like Darren Collison, actually, when he was at UCLA, one of the few.
Yeah.
Did they make the tournament that year?
No, how did they not win the tournament?
Yeah.
The problem was that Love and Westbrook only played together 1 year. I think if they had played together another year, I think they could have won. But, like you said, they have so many good players. A lot of the guys that were on the team when they made consecutive Final Fours, a lot of those guys, they start in the NBA now. Like, forget making the NBA. They start on their teams and are, like, the stars of their teams. So they had a high turnaround there for a while, and they're better this year. But it took some time to rebuild because everyone was playing 1-2 years and leaving, except for Collison, who did play 4.
Yeah.
You're gonna call them the Kentucky of the West Coast right now? Is that what we're headed with this?
Let's not get crazy. We don't...
Out of all the Pac-12 teams, I like U of A. Sorry, Carmen. But...
Hey, come on.
I almost went to college there, but that's another story.
But OJ Mayo played for USC, though.
Yeah, he did. You're right. I stand corrected.
All right. What are your guys' other picks here?
Well, I'm going to go. I just have to voice my opinion about Coach of the Year for Tibbs because I could never say enough about that man. I mean, he won Coach of the Year, was that 3 years ago? And, I mean, was there 2?
It might have been 2, I think.
I think it was 2
years ago. No, I mean, the way he's pulled together this team that was so down and out after Rose went down. I mean, being in Chicago around that time, like, you know that commercial, the Adidas commercial where, like, everything stops? That's literally how it was.
It was
and to bring that team back up and be like, no, just because he's out doesn't mean the rest of us can't play well still. And, he's just so no nonsense. He benches Joakim Noah. He doesn't care. He's like, you're going to mouth off. You're not going to do what I say. You're not going to, like, participate in this team. I'm going to bench you. I don't care how good you are.
That's pretty ballsy to bench Noah.
Yeah, it is.
Lose a gas.
And I respect him for it. Because he goes about it for the right reasons, and he doesn't just do it to get back at him. And Noah learned his lesson. He's playing better now.
Oh, yeah, he's having his best year ever.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have to say that Tibbs for Coach of the Year, that's got to be hands down. And I'm going to go with Kobe for MVP, but...
Oh, my God.
I wanted to go... I love Kevin Durant, actually, and I think he's a great person, and I think he is awesome, and he puts up great numbers. He makes everyone around him so much better. But Kobe is... He's having one of the best seasons of his life, of his career, despite...
They're in, like, 14th place in the West.
Yeah, I know, but doesn't change the fact that Kobe is awesome.
Put that down. That's old pro Kobe.
He looks like old Kobe, though. That's the point.
See, that's right. He looks like the 8 days.
But he's next to a former MVP in Steve Nash, a Defensive Player of the Year in Dwight Howard, an All-Star in Pau Gasol, and they're, 6 games below 500?
I mean, he is doing everything he possibly can.
You gotta win. I don't care. You have to win.
What else would you have Kobe do?
He can't facilitate. He just has to go out there and shoot. He's a shooter.
Do you think Jordan would have put up with Mike D'Antoni?
No.
Hell no.
No, he would have done him like Doug Collins.
Exactly. I think Kobe's going soft this year. I mean, he's on Twitter now. He's stuff.
No, he's just thinking for the fact that I need to get the hell out of here, so I'm gonna go and take to social media and figure this shit out.
He had to do something to have a good time because the thirst is real for him on Instagram. So he had to do something to be happy.
Hey, you know what? John Clayton reached 1 million followers before Kobe did. I will say that. John Clayton got 1 million in 24 hours. Took Kobe a week.
Well, John Clayton's the best.
He couldn't be like Catherine Webb, I guess.
Let's not even go there.
Yeah. Well, we'll go. Me and Greg will go there later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Well, obviously.
I just said, go ahead.
Obviously, my MVP is going to be Kevin Durant. And that's not just my bias. I mean, besides that they have the best record in the West, besides that he's on pace to join the 50-40-90 club. A lot of people, when they compare Durant and LeBron, they always bring up the defense. But what people are failing to realize is in steals, they're neck and neck. In blocks, Durant blocks way better. And according to basketballreference.com, his defensive rating is actually a point better than LeBron's this season. So you can't point to just the offense anymore. Durant's actually playing better all-around basketball on both ends, and his team is winning. So I don't see how you can not give that to him at this point in the season.
So I'm gonna jump in on you. I actually agree with you on that, and I think that one of the things that Durant doesn't get enough credit for is improving his game year to year. Like his rebounds have always been pretty good, but they've gone up. His assist totals have gone up. His defense has gotten better. Like I think that he doesn't get enough credit for how much better his game is at this point.
He doesn't, because whenever I hear people too, they're like, "Oh well, LeBron's the better defender." No, it's not. Not anymore. Not when you look at the numbers. And people point to, where'd you guys go? Someone went away.
Yeah, I'm here still. My batteries are out.
We might have lost Carmen there for a second.
No, you got me. Don't worry.
I mean, and they're both having great seasons. I'm not trying to say LeBron's not having a great season. I just think Durant's having a better season, and his team's winning. And at the end of the day, it is about winning. It's who's the most valuable to their team.
But that's always an interesting argument, though, about should the MVP only be on a team that's winning a lot? I mean, there's not a huge difference between Oklahoma City's record and Miami's. Oklahoma City's is better, but that's always just
and they're in a tougher conference.
Yeah, that too. But it's always an interesting thing to me, kind of like to a different sport in baseball when A-Rod won MVP when he was with the Rangers. Like, it's always interesting to me about how we decide, the criteria for MVP, because I think it rotates and changes all the time.
See, I think there should be 2 awards. I think there should be an MVP, most valuable, and a most outstanding, because to me there's a difference between being the best player and being the most valuable to your team.
I think that's a great idea because you always are going to have the same 4 people basically up for the MVP discussion. Yeah. So I actually think that would be a really good idea.
Well, who would you have then if you separated that out this year for valuable and outstanding?
For valuable, see, that would be tough. See, I still think that Kevin Durant's one of the most valuable, but he does the problem is LeBron and Durant both have good guys around them. Stephen Curry is very, very valuable to his team. Dirk Nowitzki, he's been hurt this year, but to me, if there was a separate, he would have had a lot more MVP consideration. Rajon Rondo is so valuable. I know the Celtics aren't playing well, but imagine how horrible they would be if it was not for Rajon Rondo.
Oh yeah,
but hold on,
what about player in the NBA, by the way? So
MVP. If we had an MVP, it should be Kobe, because if you take Kobe off of the Lakers instead of being they would be in last place in the West.
See, my argument against Kobe is he has all these players around him, and before the season started, everybody looked at the lineup and said, "Oh, this is the best lineup on paper. Oh, they're the favorites in the West now, and this, that, and the other," and they're losing.
They were the Avengers. They were supposed to be the Avengers, for God's sake.
Exactly. Everyone said this is the best lineup on paper, which I think is kind of overrated, but. They played horrible. They instantly became Vegas odds #1 to win in the West.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but see, at the same time though, both of y'all have bias against them because you are both rooting for the fact that you wanted them to fail to varying degrees. So you're happy now that they failed, and they did, but it's not.
I'm not gonna lie, I am happy about it.
Overrated.
I know, me too. I called it.
See, now y'all both knew.
I was looking back at my Facebook post when all those trades were happening with Nash and Howard, and I was like, how does this solve, one, their defense against point guards? It made it even worse than it was before. They still don't have a bench. They didn't have a system. They didn't solve any of that. They just got an all-star team together.
And I think the other problem, too, tell me if you disagree, but I think the other problem is when people think about Nash and Howard and Kobe and Pau, they think a healthy Dwight Howard, they think a Steve Nash in his prime, they want to think of Pau Gasol in his prime, they want to think all these guys in their prime. Pau Gasol's not in his prime, Steve Nash is 39 years old, Dwight Howard is struggling with injury, and Kobe, as good as he's playing, used to be a step faster, a step stronger. These guys aren't in their primes anymore, and I think people.
Dwight Howard shouldn't even be playing right now. I think the original, when they were talking about his injury, he wasn't even supposed to come back till after the All-Star break. I don't even know why he rushed it. You can tell he's not in his old.
I think that what first of all, I think Alyssa's point is great on that. I think that is true because I think as a Laker fan myself, I did think of it more as all of these guys in their primes, and you got to take that out. You have to think about them in this moment. But I think that's actually though the reason why they rushed Dwight Howard back, because these guys are not in their prime. So Steve Nash and Kobe only have a certain window where they're really going to be able to play at any type of good level anymore. In 2, maybe 3 more years, they're both going to be probably out of the league. So you had to get Dwight Howard back and try and see if you could have a window where you could maybe win a couple championships, which looks real bleak right now. But
see, this team would have been really great 5 years ago.
Oh yeah,
but not anymore. And and then the whole thing on defense, and they're slow. And when you have fast young teams like the Thunder, like the Clippers, like the Grizzlies, they just can't keep up. They just can't do it. Call it age, call it lack of defense, call it no bench, call it whatever you want. They just can't do it. They're not as fast and they're not as athletic.
Well, isn't their season starting again for the 5th time next week or whatever?
Okay, that's what they say every game. Every game is the Lakers season starts now. They've been saying that for the last month and a half.
It's starting tomorrow. They
have to win 90% of their games just to make the playoffs, I think.
Which means beating the Thunder including on the road, beating the Clippers, beating the Grizzlies, beating the Spurs, beating all these teams.
So I got a question for you two then. So say the Lakers go on this great roll, right? They make the playoffs. Can we consider Kobe as an MVP then?
Without knowing what happened, yeah, probably. At this point in the season, no. But if they pull it off,
they make the play. So if they make the playoffs, I want it on video that Derek said that we can consider.
I said
Kobe.
maybe. We got to think about it. If he's averaging like 40 points a game,
you can consider, but that doesn't mean he should win. You can consider it.
Anyways, we kind of got sidetracked with Laker-related talk here. I knew that was going to happen. I guess what are your other thoughts on the other awards, Alyssa?
Oh, I think Lillard for Rookie of the Year. I think Lillard for Rookie of the Year. For Coach of the Year, I mean, I agree with Thibodeau, like for the same reasons you guys just said. I want to throw out, and I don't want this to seem too biased, Scott Brooks, because of how they handled the James Harden trade. Because when James Harden got traded, there was so much, they just gave the West to the Clippers and the Lakers, and that was a huge mistake. And they're putting up better offensive rating, better defensive rating. They're playing better all-around basketball than when they had him. So for the way he's handled that, I have to kind of throw Brooks' name in the mix, and just because they're the number one team in the West. But I still go with Thibodeau.
Okay.
Nice. Am I back?
All right, now that we got Carmen back.
I heard briefly that this went into a Lakers discussion, and I wasn't even here for it.
Probably take a good time to kind of leave for a little bit.
Yeah, I tried to hold it down for you, Carmen, but man, they were getting up.
All right, looks like we got one Carmen now. We had two there for a little bit.
Okay, now we got one. Good.
I guess, what are your thoughts for the awards, Carmen?
For the midseason awards?
Yeah. Or did you already go through all of yours?
I kind of went through them all. I mean, I picked Lillard for Rookie of the Year just because I feel like the popular vote is Anthony Davis. Come on. That's the popular vote. Lillard's doing things that no one – he's out of Weber State. Like,
where is Weber? Will somebody tell me where Weber State even is?
I don't even know where it is, but it should be pronounced Weber.
I could be wrong.
Weber, something like that.
It should, but it's Weber. And I mean, he's the highest, pick to come out of that school, obviously, which is insane.
You guys remember Ronald Arsenault? Nobody ever remembers that guy.
No,
he was on Weber State when they knocked out North Carolina in that tournament that one year.
And we should be proud of Portland
for
picking a good draft pick. We should be proud of the Trailblazers for making a good draft pick.
That is another good point.
He could be blowing out his team.
Weber/Weber State is in Ogden, Utah.
That's what I said.
That's unfortunate.
That's what I said. I said it.
I know. I ignored that.
No, I said Virginia, but okay.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna go Lillard. I mean, he's just, I don't know. He's doing good things.
He's just fun to watch too.
He is. He's got an 83% free throw accuracy.
That kid's got the fundamentals down, and he's flashy too. I like it.
Yeah.
He doesn't shy away from the big moments either.
Too.
No, he doesn't.
Unlike some people, LeBron. No, he doesn't try away from big moments.
Yeah. No, he's over 40%.
I think that's the only thing we all agree on is LeBron hating on LeBron. I think
it's so easy.
It is so easy.
It really is. He makes it
ignites us all.
He does make it easy. He puts that on himself. Like, that's his own doing.
Well, the funny thing is, before he did the whole decision thing, I was actually a big LeBron fan.
I wouldn't go so far as to say I was a big LeBron fan, but I respected him.
I was not a hater before the decision. I was cool with him.
It was funny because I actually liked him more when he was kind of being a jerk, but that's just kind of my nature. It's kind of why I like Kobe so much.
When he turned heel.
Right.
No, there's a difference between Kobe and LeBron, though. Kobe is unapologetic for a reason, but he motivates everyone else around him. He doesn't just say, "Oh, I'm the best," whatever.
Kobe
I don't like Kobe I don't like Kobe personally. Like, I'm not personally a fan of who he is as a person, but I respect him as a player and as a competitor, and I don't respect LeBron as a player or a competitor because Kobe lives for those moments, those game-winning shots, those big time. He lives for that. LeBron doesn't do that.
No.
Yeah, and Kobe's always in the gym. I mean, he's not Hollywood or anything like LeBron.
And he's getting on guys for not being in the gym.
Kobe's probably practicing right now.
Not working harder.
He's probably practicing right now. There's a Vanessa Bryant joke in there, but I'm just going to let it go.
I was going to talk about creeping on somebody too, but we want to talk about what happened in Colorado that one year.
No, leave that out. We don't talk about that. Just like Ray Lewis, we leave that stuff out.
Probably smart.
There's got to be a Ray Lewis reference in here somewhere.
Oh, man. Well, we kind of talked about this a little bit, too, is kind of surprise teams, good and bad so far this year. we talked. We'll exclude Laker talk because we talked a lot about them already, and that was gonna be my bad team surprise wise.
Are you really that surprised though? I feel like it's not that surprising. That
I didn't think they were going to be this bad. I knew they were going to be great. I didn't think they'd be this bad though.
See, I didn't think there was going to be any middle ground. If they were going to be good, they were going to be awesome. If they were going to be bad, they were going to be awful.
I'm not surprised they disappointed people at all, but I am surprised that it's been as bad as it has been.
Fighting words. All right.
Yeah. Let's leave the Lakers out of this one. Pick different team besides.
We'll look at it as a positive.
Boston.
Yeah, that shocked me actually.
Did it shock you that they're old?
But why does that shock people? They always start slow though.
Well, they do.
I know they're kind of rebuilding, which I get. Like, I did not expect them to be like one of the top teams in the East, but I didn't expect them to be as bad as they are to this point. I thought they'd be like middle of the ground somewhere. I didn't expect them to be as bad as they are.
It's weird. Just a few days ago, they had the exact same record they had at this point last year. They're pretty much one of those teams. Just they'll make the playoffs. They don't care who they play.
Well, they're still 8th in the conference, right?
Yeah.
Right, but watch out. If they get into that 7th seed and say the Knicks end up staying at the 2 seed, I think a lot of people will end up picking Boston to take them out.
I would not be surprised to see Boston upset the Knicks in a playoff series if that were to happen. I wouldn't be surprised at all. So
you know Carmelo's allergic to the second round.
I
have a whole write-up on that.
Carmelo has yet to step up in playoffs, which is my beef with him when people want to compare him to LeBron and Durant and Kobe and put his name in there. Win a playoff series first, Carmelo.
He won one.
In Denver, right?
In Denver, he made the Western Finals. But I did a whole write-up about his playoff failures once, and it's pretty hilarious, actually. He's one of my top 5 hated players, actually, in the NBA.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Kind of on a positive note, I have the Bulls as my good surprise team.
That's my good surprise team.
I'm not that surprised. I don't know why everyone's so surprised. I'm not surprised they're good. They have a great coach.
Yeah. And they're in the East. And they're in the East. It's better to, it's easier to kind of win there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Chicago fans are surprised, but I mean,
I think all Bulls fans are surprised. Everyone I know at home in Chicago is surprised about the Bulls because I think it's also because what Carmen was talking about when Derrick Rose got injured. Man, everybody was so doggone sad. Like everybody thought that the world had ended when that happened. So to see them still doing well is pretty surprising as a fan. But I like the Warriors as kind of the good surprise team. I think a lot of people.
I think they're losing steam though.
Who, the Warriors?
Yeah.
Well, the injuries are kind of. If Bogut comes back, and I don't know, I think they have a deep enough team that they're going to be all right there. The Grizzlies will probably fall back. They're gonna trade either Gay or.
Yeah, they're going to have to make trades because the owner doesn't want to hit the luxury tax.
I mean, the Nuggets will probably catch them, but I mean, other than that, you have Houston, Portland, the Jazz. I mean, they'll still be kind of in the same area they're at now.
The West is going to come down to the Spurs, the Clippers, and the Thunder, unless like some one of those teams suffers like some complete meltdown. Like that's the 3 in the West that's going to come down to. Like that's just it. People will there's teams that'll put up a fight, but they're not going to beat them. Not in a playoff series. I don't
agree with that. I mean, honestly, I think that they're going to take the Eastern Conference. Whoever ends up with the West, they're going to beat the Heat.
I actually agree with that because I don't think the Heat have that same motivation this year.
They don't.
Yeah, but once they get into the playoffs, I want to see how they play. And once they get to the playoffs, I think that they're obviously disinterested with the regular season at this point. So when they get to the playoffs, will they be able to hit that switch? Will Dwayne Wade actually be able to turn it on? Or will we keep seeing that little bit of a decline in his game that we've seen? I don't know. It'll be interesting.
And what happens if they play Indiana? Indiana's my sleeper team in the East right now. Like, people are sleeping on the Pacers, but the Pacers are good. They are really good. And they could have what it takes to really push the Heat in a playoff series.
Yeah, I think they learned a lot from that series with them last year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Paul George is going to be a stud here pretty soon. He's like kind of on the verge. He still has.
Roy Hibbert's playing well.
Paul George will be a Laker in 2 years. Don't worry.
You're talking about Devin George, right?
No, I'm not. No. No. But watch out for the Bulls though too. While we're talking about the Bulls being a surprise team, well, you still forget that we haven't gotten healthy Derrick Rose yet back.
I don't want him to come back this year though.
Yeah,
that's what I said because I thought the season was lost.
This year. So yeah, you
know how Penny Hardaway type thing going on. Like I don't want to lose like one of those star players out there.
Well, I didn't want him to come back either because I thought the season was lost, and I was like, "There's no point."
Yeah.
I think if the Bulls are really going to contend for a championship, they need a second star next to Rose, like a big name star. Because like a lot of teams have at least two. Like you have LeBron and Wade, you have Westbrook and Durant.
Yeah, but you see Luol
like
stepping up.
Yeah, I'm going to say, but you got Luol Deng and you got Joakim Noah. You might be out.
They're stepping up.
They're stars, but they're not all stars.
You guys are forgetting
about
about
you put those three together. You put Luol, you put Derrick Rose, you put Joakim Noah the way Joakim and Luol are playing now, and you've got trouble.
But will they play the same way Rose back?
I get what you're saying, Alyssa. Those guys are more. They're kind of on that second.
Okay, they're all stars, but they're not superstars, and there's a difference between all-star and superstar.
Yeah, they're kind of on that second
tier. Superstars in today's day and age. That's how I feel.
Yeah, he needs a guy like. I don't know who's even available for them to pick up here.
They should have got James Harden.
That would have been dope.
Don't even. I don't want to see James.
I did that just for you.
I almost brought up James Harden for most improved. I mean, I didn't think
he was good coming off the bench for Oklahoma City. Like, he's not most improved. He's just now in an environment that allows him to showcase himself. Lord knows he's good at that. So
I questioned how he was going to do as a starter because when he did start because he did start a few games for OKC when Cephalosha was injured and didn't play well.
No,
so I questioned how he was going to do as a starter. But now he doesn't have to share the ball with Westbrook and Durant, and he's not, he's out of their spotlight, so he can do his own thing.
He's got Linsanity there with him. He's got to share that spotlight. But
he doesn't have to share it.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a valid point.
He doesn't do well with sharing. I'll agree with you on that, Alyssa. He's not a good sharer.
Harden always he was always going against, like, the second line of players for the most part.
Yeah. And I still don't trust Harden in the playoffs because...
he might have had too much fun on South Beach last year during the finals.
You can go back to college, and you can see that he is not that clutch. You saw ASU get knocked out the first round of the
playoffs. Every series the Thunder played last year in the playoffs, he got worse. Like, he had a good series against Dallas. He had he had a pretty good series against the Lakers. He had an okay series against the Spurs and had a horrible series against Miami. So everyone, he kind of got worse. I don't really trust him in a playoff environment. He still has to prove he can do that. But, I mean, I've been pretty impressed by what he's done in Houston, to be honest, because I didn't know how he'd do as a starter.
Yeah.
I knew he'd be all right as long as he was, like, the front runner of the team. But, I mean, come playoff time, you're going to see. Well, I don't know if he's gotten better, but in college, we're still a little salty.
Well, that'd be funny interesting because he'd be playing OKC right now, I think. I think Houston's 8.
Yeah, Houston getting in there.
Yeah, they are 8. That would actually be great, yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
It would be funny, but like I always tell people the Thunder won this trade because James Harden can go swim in his $80 million, but they're not going to be in the finals anytime soon. He'll be sitting there watching the finals at home with the rest of us.
I thought he was so stupid for leaving because it was a difference of what, $5 million, $10 million over the whole contract?
They offered him 4 years, I think, at $55 million, which for a bench player, which he would have stayed on OKC, really good money.
It's real easy to turn down that extra money when it's not your money.
But I also think there's a time, like, I think every great player comes to a time where they have to decide, do I go for the money or do I go for the rings?
Yeah, but that usually happens later in your career. That doesn't
everybody hates on LeBron, but he basically gave up money to win a championship.
Oh, yeah. And you think Durant never held over free agency, neither did Russell Westbrook, and you think they could have gotten more elsewhere possibly? They probably could have, and they stayed. So,
and it's not like these guys can't make up this money in endorsements and stuff like that. Like, I've written whole articles on this where it's like any contract money that you don't get, you don't think you get even more money with endorsements? That's where the real money is anyway.
A lot of their money comes from their endorsement, the video games, the shoes, the clothes, all that.
Yeah, because there's no salary caps on endorsements. These guys make... Yeah. Blake Griffin is living off of his endorsement money right now.
Didn't that report just come out saying that Kobe made $60 million last year and most of it was...
endorsements. I'm telling you, Blake Griffin is living off his endorsements. He has not touched his $95 million contract.
Exactly. So Harden took the money. Harden could have taken the championships. He took the money, which is fine. I respect that. I understand it. But don't get mad when you see OKC in the finals again. That could have been you. You turned it down.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
Well, it'll be interesting here in a few years because a lot of these teams, like the Spurs, are probably going to have a big drop-off here pretty soon.
Oh, yeah. Father time.
I mean, you can never really count out the Lakers. They always somehow dupe somebody.
They're gonna weasel their way into the playoffs. I stand behind that.
Trade. They'll end up with like Derrick Rose or something for all we know.
Hell
no, God, no. I hope not.
No. So no, I'm a Lakers fan, man, but no, I gotta stick with Chicago on that one. He cannot ever leave Chicago.
He cannot ever leave.
That can't go.
We get attached to our star players.
Yeah.
Look at us, Jordan.
Well, I was just talking about in the West though, because Spurs are gonna drop off. Lakers, they're kind of unknown right now. Grizzlies are gonna break up their team somewhat.
Which is stupid, but yeah.
Everybody else is kind of like, you don't know how good they'll be, but I might be a little biased again. But a team that's in a really good position to rise here in the next few years is the Nuggets, actually. They got a lot of cap space.
I agree with that. They actually are in a good position.
A lot of assets. They're young. They could just move up to number 2 or 3 by default here, by other teams falling down.
Right, but we'll also see what happens.
I don't know if they're going to fall down that quickly, though. I think you're going to have to see it until next season.
Well, I mean, the Clippers will still be there as long as they keep Paul.
Clippers are going to still be there.
But the Spurs are probably, I mean, they're what, 45, and I think Duncan's like 56 right now.
He's been around forever. Yeah, I mean, I think the Nuggets could move up in the next couple of years, but I think, this is back to what I was kind of saying, they need a superstar too. Do they really have a superstar? Like that leader, that Kobe, that LeBron, that Durant, do they have that? Because you need
Ty Lawson.
He hasn't proven he's a superstar yet.
Greg's being facetious here.
Right.
They don't actually. I know Iguodala is kind of, he's a dream teamer.
I like Iggy. I like Iggy a lot.
I love Iguodala, but I don't think he's that leader.
No, he's a good side. He'd be good to be as like Rose's sidekick, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Put him on the Bulls.
They've been talking about him though with the trades for Dwight Howard.
Yeah. Well, I think the Nuggets have a lot of assets though to make that trade. I mean, they have 3 centers. JaVale McGee, who's the most interesting man in the NBA, by the way. Mozgov, Kufos, they have a lot of assets. They have a bunch of draft picks too. I don't know who they get though. Rumors about Josh Smith, but I don't think that'd take him over the hump either.
No, that won't.
At that point, they're still missing that guy. Gallinari could be a poor man's Dirk Nowitzki here in a few years, but even then, I think
Dirk Nowitzki is a poor man's Dirk Nowitzki right now.
Right now.
Dirk is still clutch though. Don't sleep on it. He's having a rough season. He's clutch though still.
But I mean the Mavericks are in some sort of.
Yeah, the Mavericks are running this year.
They're rebuilding.
Yeah, they'll make some moves. I think Cuban will be okay here in a little bit, but
that's like my favorite owner in the NBA after Presti.
Is Cuban?
Yeah, Cuban? I think he's hilarious. I just think the guy is so funny.
What about
he would be funny if he didn't take himself so seriously.
What about Bennett?
An asshole, he'd be real funny.
Huh?
The Maloofs? He'll love for the Maloofs. Bringing the Sonics back.
Hey, I know a lot of people that are happy about that. I'll tell you that much.
That's how I can defend what happened with the Seattle moving to Oklahoma City. They're doing the same thing to Sacramento. That's how I can defend them, because I lived in Seattle for 10 years, and I get so much crap because I'm from Seattle and I'm a Thunder fan. But I understand that it's all about business, and I'm not going to hold a grudge against players. Like, I'm still going to root for the Sonics when the Kings go there, but I understand why Sacramento's upset, just why I understood why Seattle's upset. But you can't hold a grudge against the players for that. It's not their fault. And it's a business.
And now this gives Seattle the opportunity to say, hey, no, we want the team back. Give us our team, and I guarantee you that they won't get an NBA team taken away from them again.
Right.
No. It's just
they need to make Gary Payton their head coach when they come back. I don't care if he or not. Just to have him out there just talking mess.
Hey man, he had some badass shoes though.
Oh, the glove? Oh yeah. I think I had those. The zip up ones.
I had them. I had the ones with the zipper.
Wow.
Does anybody else think it's weird to see Ray Allen in red?
Yes.
Like in any color but green? Because Sonics green, Celtics green, now he's in red. Does anybody else think that's weird? Like I still kind of trip out over it.
He's on the Bucks. They had green too.
Yeah, even when he was at the Bucks,
Yeah, it's so weird seeing him in red. Like,
Walter Ray Allen is dead to me now for going to the Heat.
How you gonna do Jesus Shuttlesworth like that?
I was just gonna say, come on.
When he retires, I'll forgive him. But for now, being on the Heat.
I know how you feel.
He wanted another ring, though. You can't blame him. I never did. Like when I heard of the trade, I was like, well, he's not gonna get another ring with the Celtics.
I mean, the Celtics were gonna try to trade him anyways, so I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But he could have went to any other team.
Any team but the Heat.
Why? Why go to another team when you know that Miami wants you and you can get a ring there?
Right, you got the best. You know you're gonna probably at least get to the conference finals because you got LeBron and nobody else.
Went to the Lakers. I mean, all the other old superstars are going there.
Oh, look!
He could have gone to the Thunder. He could have gone to the Thunder.
We ain't friends no more.
That's fine. That's fine, Greg. All right. So I think that was pretty much all I had scheduled for the show.
Yeah, I actually got to get out of here. So
yeah, we'll wrap this up here. We'll just do kind of our final thoughts. For me, and I know this kind of sounds like a homer pick again, watch out for the Nuggets in the second half. They literally played half of their road games in like the first 2 months of the season. They're going to be at home pretty much the rest of the way. So they're going to be moving up the standings, probably up to number 4, but just watch out for those guys.
Oh, so I tell you who I watch out. It's tough though. I'll tell you who to watch out for. Like it's gonna sound so bad, but the Bulls. I like the Bulls. If we get Derrick Rose back, and I'm still gonna hold out hope. I'm still holding out hope that the Lakers can make some noise. I know.
Yeah, I'll tail it off that. I think the Lakers.
I got hope.
They're getting in there. It just can't happen. They can't not get in there. It's not good for the NBA.
Right now, I want them to get the 8th seed, and I want them to play the Thunder in the first round. So
they'll make it happen.
Watch out for the Pacers in the East. I don't think Miami's repeating. I think the Thunder's going to win. KD is going to join the 50-40-90 club, something that neither LeBron nor Kobe has done. He's going to win his first MVP. The Thunder's going to win, and Miami's not going to repeat, and the Lakers are not going to make the playoffs. They're self-imploding. They're not going to make it.
That's a nice fairy tale.
Wow. Yep. Alyssa's just dropping bombs here to end the show. I'm sure we'll do some follow-up shows to this as the season progresses. Thanks for being on the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
You guys have any plugs? You can do it now. Anything you guys want to promote?
You can check out my articles for Lakers Nation whenever you want. They come out every week. I'm an editorial writer, so look out for me. Wee.
You can check out my first show that's going to be on Wednesday, February 6th. I don't know the exact time yet, but I'll let you guys know. But make sure you tune in and call in.
Greg, you got anything to plug?
Go to nocoastbias.com.
You're a good man. So we'll keep everybody updated on what everybody's doing for the site. Thanks again, guys, for joining the show. And until next time.
A lot of fun. Thanks, Eric.
Later.
Bye.